Okay, and we're on, and we're looking at alkenes. I think everything's posted that it should be. Okay, but I can't remember. I think everything's as it should be. So last lesson we looked at alkenes and we did the mechanism for electrophilic addition. Okay, this is what we did last lesson, and there's a video on this if you want to look at it. And basically, it's how we add across a double bond. Okay, and so I'm drawing it here. That's 2HBr. This is just a revision from last lesson. All right, now let me get a nice bright color. Because, let me do a nice red for this one. This is delta plus and delta minus. The HBr attacks, electrons come out here, these electrons go on here, and we end up with this guy. Whoops, no we don't. We end up with this. The hydrogen will always add first. Then this is that guy there, and then the Br will then add on. There's Br minus, we've got to show the electrons there, and then this will go there, and we end up with the product, which in this case is going to be bromoethane. I forgot to put the hydrogens on there, didn't I? So I think we're all good with that. We can't hang on. We can't do this forever, guys. We've got to move on, eh? So I'm going to call this done now. This is electrophilic addition, known as EA in chemistry. Okay, and we end up with bromoethane. So I hope we're all good with that. That's alkanes. Sorry, alkenes. I keep saying that. That's alkenes, and they undergo electrophilic addition. And the electrophile is the thing that attacks the double bond. So the thing which attacks the double bond, this is how we have to write the double bond, is called an electrophile. That's called an electrophile. And the whole thing is called electrophilic addition. Okay, and because two things come together to form one thing. Okay, so we've done alkenes, electrophilic addition, and we've done the naming of alkenes, haven't we? All right, I think that's all we've done so far. Now we're going to look at something called polymerization. Polymerization. And this is something alkenes do as well. Alkenes can do this. And the type of polymerization, does anyone remember what we call the type of polymerization from alkenes? It's given a special name. Anyone know? What's the type of polymerization? No one? Anyone? Has everyone forgotten? It's known as 5, 3, 2, 1. Thumbs down, don't forget. If you don't know, thumbs up. Yeah, well done. It's called addition. Well done to Monique. Janet, did you know that? It's called addition polymerization. Okay. Janet's gone, I think. All right. So let's do some Form 5 stuff first. Let's have a look at alkenes. There's an alkene. This is ethene. Okay. And there's another ethene. And there's another ethene. 3 ethene molecules in a row. Okay. Now, if we put these under pressure, these are called ethene. And if we put them under pressure, they will all join together. Basically, electrons will jump from one double bond to the next carbon. Okay, and that's what they do. All right, they kind of add to each other. Okay, so these electrons will capture this carbon, and these electrons will capture this carbon, and basically you'll form a long chain. Okay, Janet, are you still there, dear? Have you gone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Janet's still there. Yeah, I thought you disappeared. All right, and we get this guy. Okay. Now, oh God, the thing about organic chemistry, as I've said a million times, is hydrogen atoms. They go on forever, don't they? Okay, there we are. Now, this new thing is still called ethene. Quite weirdly, because it's because it's not an alkene anymore, but that's what we call it. But we call it polyethene. Okay, and this has been, over years, has been shortened to polythene. Okay, so this is polythene. And the type of reaction that we see here is known as a polymerization. Polymerization. And the type of polymerization is addition, as Tamani says. So this is an addition polymerization. Now, a few things about the final thing down here. We often do this. We put it in brackets and we put the line through the brackets. Oh, Janet's just left us. All right, we put the line through the brackets here. Now, these must be shown. These are known as continuation lines. This is a continuation line. And it shows the polymer goes on. It shows we're only showing a part of the polymer. And over this side as well, we've got a continuation line there. Okay, you must show those. All right. Now, as you can see, these have come together to form that. Now, these molecules here at the top, these are the single units or the single part, or one part, and one is mono, part is mer. So the ethene are the monomers, and when they form the polymer, we get many parts. Many parts. Okay, and many parts is known as the polymer. Okay, so ethene is the monomer, and polythene is the polymer. And the type of polymerization is known as addition polymerization. Okay, so we're good there. And you can only get this kind of polymerization if you have a double bond. All right, or a triple bond for that matter. Okay, are we good so far, Tamani? You good so far? I don't think there's anything hard so far, is there? I'm just putting this on the video so it forms a complete course. All right, thank you. All right, so now let's have a look at another one. Okay, this one, I'm going to put a Cl here and an H here. This guy is called chloroethene. Okay, and when it polymerizes, it's going to give polychloroethene, isn't it? Okay, but another name for this guy is vinyl chloride. Okay, now there's two ways. I'm going to show you two ways we can polymerize this guy. Okay, the first way is drawing them like I did in the first one, drawing them next to each other. Okay, like this. Where are we now? Yep. Okay, I'm going to draw two next to each other. And there's go. Okay, and basically all I have to do now is get rid of that single bond, put it here, and get rid of, and get rid of this single bond, or this one of the bonds of the double bond, and put it here. And there you go. And this is our polymer. Did you see how I did that, Damani? Are you good? That's one way of doing it. Excellent. Well done. Good. Nice quick responses. Then we can move on. Now, I've drawn two. In this example of my polymer, there are two monomer units. Okay, you can see them there. There's one there and one there. And therefore, we say this, the way I've drawn it, has two repeat units. Okay, there's two repeat units there. If I wanted to show one repeat unit, I would literally, I'd cut it off here. This is the same place. And I'd cut it off before it goes to the second repeat unit. So now I'm going to use my tool here. I'm just going to cut this. Oh, that didn't work. I'm going to cut this out, or I'm going to copy it there. And now I'm going to paste it down there. And hopefully, there we are. And there is one repeat unit, except for some reason or other it didn't get that continuation line. Okay, and this is now one repeat unit. Does that make sense? Are we good to money? To be honest with you, you should know most of this. This is Form 5, really, isn't it? We haven't really done anything hard yet. All right, so there you go. So there's a polymer. All right, what's the polymer called? Well, the monomer is called chloroethene. So the polymer, let's get a different color. The polymer here is known as poly. Just put poly in front of the name. Polychloroethene. Okay, and it's better known as this, though. It's better known as polyvinyl chloride. Okay, because its other name for chloroethene is vinyl chloride, and this is PVC. Okay, Janet's back. Well done, Janet. All right, so that's called polyvinyl chloride, PVC. Have you heard of that one, either of you? PVC. PVC is. Do you remember that? You know these old records that we used to play. That they're made of PVC. So it's a really quite a nice plastic PVC. All right, so that's polyvinyl chloride. All right, now let's do it. Oh, there's one way of doing it. So how do we make that polymer? We drew two monomers next to each other, but there's another way, and you might prefer this way. Okay, so I'll do the second way of doing it. All right, we write down the monomer. Here's the monomer. Okay, there's the monomer. Okay, and to make the polymer, all I've got to do is get rid of one of these bonds there and draw my continuations. And that is the polymer. Obviously, I've shown one repeat unit there. And what we often do is we put an N down here to show that this repeats itself many times. So there's two ways of drawing the polymer from the monomer. All right, so there you go. Now, there's I've seen this in a kind of an equation way. I'm sure you'll follow this, but I've seen this. Well, if I've got my polymer, my monomer. There's my monomer. And if I have N of these, I will get N of these. Okay, so I hope we follow the maths there, what that represents. Are we good with that equation? That's quite straightforward, isn't it? Do we get that? Janet and Tamani, are we good? Janet's good. Yeah, it's a way. Hopefully you haven't really learned anything yet today. I think we've done everything. You've done it. It's a Form 5 thing, isn't it? We've only done Form 5 stuff, really. Okay, so there you go. All right, a couple more examples though, because you've got to get into these, as it were. All right, another polymer, a monomer, I should say, is this guy. Okay, HH. There's an H here. And down here, we have a strange, oops, that's not right, is it? We have a benzene ring. Okay, now this funny shape here, let me go over here. There's a benzene ring, and it represents C6, oh, why did I say C2? This represents C6H6. And it is a cyclo compound, which we haven't done anything with yet. And this guy's called benzene. Okay, now the bit when it's added onto something like this is this. Okay, and in other words, one of the hydrogens must have been removed, so I can stick it on something else. And this thing is obviously C6H5. Okay, and this is known as a phenyl group. Okay, benzene is the molecule. All right, this guy is a molecule. But when it's added onto something, we call it a phenyl group, or a benzyl group, actually. But this is when it's added to something else. Don't worry too much about this, because we will look at benzene later. That's when we add it to someone else, it's a C6H5. All right. All right, so this guy here is known as phenyl ethene, or, all right, so we call this guy phenyl for that bit, and it's added onto an ethene, isn't it? Phenyl ethene has a common name, and it's known as styrene. Okay, styrene. Okay, so I think you can see what we're getting up here. Does anyone know where I'm going with this? Okay, let's draw the monomer again. Does anyone know where I'm going with this polymer? Jen, it's not all right. Maybe you don't know this stuff. When I was growing up, we all knew this, but I think things have changed. There's the monomer. Does anyone know what the polymer is going to be called? There's the monomer. It is. It's styrofoam. Foam. Not styrofoam. Styrofoam. Yeah, it is. But we don't call it that. Well, I guess we do. Anyway, there's the monomer, and I'm going to make the polymer. All right, going to get rid of that. I'm going to put my continuation units on there, my continuation lines, and there. And this guy, this is no longer the monomer, is it? This is now the polymer. Okay, and this is known as polystyrene. And you're quite right, Tamani, it is styrofoam. Styrofoam. And it's what we use to pack things in. Have you heard of polystyrene, though? Maybe we just heard of styrofoam, but it's polystyrene is the correct name. Okay, but you're quite right. It is styrofoam. Well done. So are we good there? Do we think if I give you a monomer, could you draw the polymer? Guys, do you think you could? Okay, I'm going to give you, well, get a pen out because it's getting a bit lonely doing this on my own all the time. Get a pen out and the paper, and I'm going to give you two monomers. Okay, monomer number one, I'm going to give you CH3, CH, CH, CH3. And if you're good at these things, this is called butene. Okay, and then I'm going to give you CH2, CH, CH2, CH3. These are the monomers. Okay, and this is butanene. Okay, so right, do the two polymers of these two. Polymerize those two. I'll give you 1 minute because I'm cheating a little bit. I'm going away and I'm getting a cup of tea because my throat is very dry. Okay, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I'll put some music on for you. Here we go. Maybe not. All right, here we go. Oh. I'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, I'm back. Did we manage? I'm not going to embarrass anyone. I'm not going to ask anyone. But are we okay? Maybe you've both gone. You've gone to get a cup of tea as well. All right, I'll do the first one. Okay. Oh, Tamani, you're not good. All right, let's have a look at the first one. Now, the best way to do it is to redraw them. Redraw. All right, don't worry. Redraw with. Don't worry, Janet. Redraw with the double bond in the middle. In the middle. Okay, it's just a matter of practice. These aren't hard. I guess you're just not used to them. So I'm going to draw. I'm going to call this number 1 and this one number 2. So let's do number 1, and I'll redraw it with the double bond in the middle. So would you agree that this is the middle? And there's a CH3 here, and a CH3 here. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to do the quick way. Get rid of one of the bonds, and I'm going to draw continuation lines like that. And I'm going to say N. And this is polybutene. Are we good? Do you see that, Janet and Timani? You see? I hope you realise it's not hard, is it? Once you know how to do it, it's not hard. And don't forget, no one was born good at this, so you don't have to be embarrassed if you're not good at this. It's just life, isn't it? You've got to practice these things. All right, now number 2. Let's do number 2 together. Whoopsie daisy, don't know what's going on there. Different colour. I'm going to draw my double bond in the middle. Okay, and this is the number 2. The thing is, I'm confident about changing these around to different types of formula. Now, you're not very confident at that, but you've got to become confident in it, okay? Honestly, it's not an easy thing. So I'm going to put a CH there, and that's this CH. And now down here is CH2, CH3, okay? Now I'm going to get rid of one of the bonds there, and now I'm going to put my continuation lines in. There, not a very pretty one, is it? But this is polybutene. Are we good? You see how that's done? Both good? Anyone good? Anyone bad? If you're not good, you've got to tell me. This is what happened to the 4th hydrogen? Which one is that? Which one's that, Timani? I will do, don't worry. Which is, let's have a look at Timani first. Which 4th hydrogen? You mean, Timani, maybe you want to put the microphone on. I don't get you. Coranu? All right, now don't worry about it. None of us are born good at this. All right, so there you go. Polybutene, polybutene. All right. Now, what am I going to do now? All right. Janet wants another example. Let's do another example. Let's have a look at this. Let's do propene. What's propene? Propene is CH3, CH2. Okay, that's propene. All right. Now, one thing is you've got to have confidence in changing this into a displayed. Changing to displayed. Now, no one's good at this, as I say. No one's born good at this, okay? But you just got to practice. So I'm going to draw the double bond, this bit in the middle. There's the double bond. On this carbon, there's 2 hydrogens. And on this carbon, there's 1 hydrogen and a methyl group. Do you see how I did that? I make it look easy because I've been doing it for a long time, but it doesn't really take, it's not easy, it's just confidence, really. I'm confident in my ability to just change things, okay? Oh, Janet, is your internet messing you up? I've just seen the email, dear. Is your internet better now? Yeah, apparently the guy's coming around today to see mine, but we'll see. All right. It happens, eh? So now what I've got to do is I've got to get rid of one of these bonds and redraw the continuation lines. And there. And this is polypropene. Are you good? Do you like that? Is that okay? Excellent. Janet, you good? Excellent. All right. So well done. I'm going to say, woohoo, well done. Yay. I never get to push the buttons. All right, so interesting. Let's have a look at these polymers. Are they different? Are they the same or are they different? Well, they're different. Look, this one has a C. Oh, that's not right. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do the highlighter. Oh, everything's going wrong now. Look at this. This is CH3 continually. This is an H. CH2CH3. So they're not the same, are they? They're very different structures. Polybutene and polybutene are different. And if you look at polypropene, okay, yeah, there's a CH3 and there's an H. Okay, so if you compare, all right, let's draw 2 units of polypropene. There's 1 unit. And there's 2 units. All right, there's a CH3 there. And there's an H there. And there's a CH3 there. And there's an H there. Do my continuation lines. There we are. That's polypropene, isn't it? And now I'm going to do polybutene. CH. I'm going to do 2 repeat units. There. And now there's a CH3 and a CH3 and a CH3 and a CH3. Do my continuation lines like that. Okay. And can you see they're not the same polymer, are they? They're different polymers. And the one on the left is polypropene. And the one on the right is polybutene. Are we good? And can you see they're different? They're not the same at all. All right. Are we good that they're different? And you can see the difference. Okay, well done, Tamani. Well done. All right. So, Janet, you good? Janet's good. Excellent stuff. Now, we've got to do... I think this is easy, but you might get freaked out by it. We've got to... What we've done already, by the way, I've given you the monomer. Okay, and I've asked you to draw the polymer. Okay, and now I'm going to give you the polymer, and I want you to go back and tell me what the monomer was or is or whatever. Okay, now watch me do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab my polypropene. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it down here. There's my polypropene. Okay. Now we know what the monomer is. The monomer is propene, isn't it? But I've got the polymer. So how do I get the propene? Watch this, everyone. I pick any of these bonds. I can pick that one. I can pick that one, or I can pick that one. Okay. Now I'm going to go back. Get rid of that. Okay. I'm going to pick the one in the middle. All right. And watch this. I'm going to make the one in the middle a double bond. Oh, that didn't work. I'm going to make the one in the middle a double bond. Then I'm going to get a rubber and rub out everything on the left of the C double bond and everything on the right. And I end up with my monomer. And what's that monomer called? Anyone see? Ladies and gentlemen, can we see? Yeah, it's propene, isn't it? Can you see how I did that? Yeah? Yeah, it's propene. Now, I'm going to do it again. Okay, over here. Yeah, my internet's not great either, Janet. I promise you. It's very slow.